Dear audience, we are here in this moment to celebrate the actress Rebecca Ferguson. She is this year's recipient of the Nordic Honorary Dragon Award. And the plan was that Rebecca should be with us here tonight in this room at Stora Teatern in Göteborg, but due to the fast spread of the Omicron virus, this was finally not possible. Instead, Rebecca is with us on link from the UK, so please give a warm welcome to this year's recipient of the Nordic Honorary Dragon Award, Rebecca Ferguson. Good evening, Rebecca. It's wonderful that you are with us tonight.
Thank you. I feel very, very happy. I obviously wish I was there. I thought we would do this in Swedish. I'm so relieved.
We will do it in English, and if you would be here, this would be the moment when I would give you the dragon statuette. But now I think you already have received it, right? But in any way... Oh.
Thank you.
In any way,
what would I say? Yeah.
In any way, I would like to read the motivation for the award. Rebecca Ferguson has entered the biggest stage in film culture with a sophisticated, nuanced, and distinctive style that has manifested her charisma and artistic intelligence to the world. With royal grace, mysterious ambiguity, and terrifying villainy, she has captivated audience and challenged genre conventions. In quiet films, she is precise and sensitive. In monumental and thunderous films, her gaze speaks louder than bombs. Rebecca Ferguson, thank you for your magnificent work and congratulations to the award.
Wow. Thank you. And this is when I show you this. This is so weird. I want to be there. I want to see you. This is so far away, but thank you. Can I put it down? I feel odd holding it. I feel lonely. Thank you so much for this. I feel really overwhelmed actually to receive it. It feels important. Due to it being Sweden and people always talk about the boundaries and they talk about sort of gränser. Now I'm doing the opposite. Treading over the sort of into the big world. And I kind of feel like I'm always seeking home, which feels so much more important. So I feel more than overwhelmed and honored to receive this award.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. And now we will have a conversation about your work and life, and we will touch upon many of your films and the roles that have made you into one of the most admired actresses in the world. But I wanted to start from the beginning. You were born in Stockholm with a British mother and a Swedish father, and as a kid you were sent to classes in dance and music, but you have described yourself as a shy child that didn't like to be in the center of things. And some children always act out different roles in the family and among friends. What is your first memory of yourself acting?
Oh. I have stories that have been told to me that I don't like about when I was a child and that I would do things. I don't know if I should tell those. I would jump up when there were actors and films I liked when I was young, and I would reenact it in front of people. But thankfully, I don't remember this, so I've decided that that's not true. My own strong memory of acting was actually my first ever casting. Are you still there?
Yeah, of course, listening.
It's so empty. Your picture disappeared, and I got 4 images of myself. Which is beyond. It's too much.
Sorry, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here, and we are. The audience is here, and we're listening carefully.
Okay. Yeah. I'm oddly shy in these circumstances. I remember casting for Nya Tider, the soap opera, and that I think was probably one of my first ever times acting. I went to Adolf Fredriks musikskola So obviously there was some form of performance. We did Globen, etc. But that was more musically inclined. It wasn't sort of acting. We were trolls a couple of years, but other than that, it was the casting for Nya Tider with Kim Sulocki.
Nya Tider, you were 15 years old when doing this casting, or at least when you later got the role, and then you became this famous person in Sweden. This was Nya Tider was this soap opera with almost 200 episodes per season.
Prime time, man.
Prime time, you
time.
know. I was 15 years old myself, and I watched you every day on the television after school. And
did you?
Yes,
wow.
I did. You and Kim Sulocki.
Oh God, so funny.
And I know that shooting Nya Tider, there were 2 shoots going on at the same time, and since you were in the leading role, you had to run between the sets. And acting is quite a challenging job in this way, and you were quite young at the time. If you now would give an advice to the 50-year-old actress running between sets, what would that be? Oh,
man, you really should send these questions so I can be quick on the answers. Do you know what? I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was new. It was exciting. It was intoxicating. It was, I mean, I don't really know what 38, 39-year-old Rebecca would tell 15-year-old Rebecca that would have suited the environment in that sense. I think I really give myself the kind of the pat on the back because I embraced whatever needed to be embraced. I was learning things, you know. I've always looked at the people around me, and that was Beatrice Järås, it was Kim, it was Ekman, it was Peder Falk, it was all these incredible actors who, you know, I was a novice, and these were stage actors. I would study them and watch them, and you know, that was acting school for me. And I enjoyed it. There wouldn't be more advice than to kind of what I did. Does that make sense?
Of course. Something interesting I read about your time at Nya Tider was that shooting this, there was like 6 months of shooting and then 6 months of not shooting,
yeah.
And that your stepfather made the production company
So
hire
smart.
you for the whole period, so you had a full-time employment for 12 months.
Of course.
It was very smart of him. But what did you do for the rest of the 6 months when there was no acting to do?
No, but that's, I mean, what he did was, you know, we were filming from, I can't remember now, August, September, October, November, December. And then during the rest of the month, I worked at Jarowski, and I would read the scripts, and I would help out behind the scenes. And I worked with the really cool media guys who did all the music videos, like Erik Gadd and stuff like that. And that was huge. You know, I was in with a cool gang, Philip and you know, all of these just really, really cool, down-to-earth rock stars in my mind. And then after that, I went back and then I acted all the scenes that I've been rewriting and helping to put together. So it was such a brilliant and I think very important idea that he had, my stepdad, because what else would I have done? You know, I was supposed to go to gymnasiet. So it kind of fulfilled the entire year, didn't it? And always educated me, in front or behind.
And after a few years in the Jarowski and the soap opera industry, you suddenly quit. And you moved to Skåne in the south of Sweden, and then working in like normal jobs in a restaurant, and in a hotel, and in the Dressman clothing store in Simrishamn.
Yep.
I heard about many young and aspiring actors doing this kind of jobs in Los Angeles, waiting to be discovered. But to me, it seems like Simrishamn is not the ideal place to go doing that. Why did you choose this place?
Life, eh? Sometimes you are circumstances drive you to certain areas, right? So my life came to a crossroad, and that was the route that I needed to take for a certain reason. But I didn't pause. I mean, that's something that lovely media likes to put in because they didn't see me. My life didn't stop. I acted. I did lots of, I think for me, I was terrified of being rejected by drama school and theater school. I didn't want, I had this idea that I was going to end up like everyone else somehow. And I don't think that is true. I think I was terrified of being rejected. So I think the idea of applying to drama school was something that I found quite terrifying. At a certain time in my life, 2005, something quite radical happened in my life as well. So I kind of decided to get out of the limelight and out of the eyes of media, which I needed for my own sanity for a bit. And my mother lived in Skåne. So I kind of just, I took a little reroute and I thought, what do I do? You know, soap opera, sure. I lived in Miami. I did a really weird series, which was absolutely horrendous, but it was a life, experience. But what's the next step when you don't have an education? No. And I enjoy acting, but how do I in Sweden prove to the people who give me the job that I can do it? And how do I prove for myself? Is acting school the only way? I don't know. I was sort of in that kind of val and kval. I didn't really know what to do. So I contacted Veronica Sinclair in Malmö, who I thought was a wonderful actor. And she trained me personally. I took private lessons. I worked at Dressman, sure. I cleaned hotel rooms. I did anything, I whatever I could do to have an income. I didn't live off anyone else. And I applied to these sort of online casting sites to be able to do any form of acting job that was required for people going out of drama, like directing school. They gave me lunch, so I gave them some acting for their finishing jobs. So I kept on going. It was never the fact that I took a pause. My life just took another twirl, thankfully.
And then you were at a flea market and suddenly bumped into the Swedish director.
I ran away from Richard Hobert.
Richard Hobert. Why did you run away?
Because I saw him. He's hard to miss.
Yeah,
he's
big
like
guy.
4 meters, ginormous, and sort of Zeus-like. There's just pondus, and I think I saw him look at me with kind of a recognition. There was something going on, and I got really scared. And I have no idea why. I do really weird things sometimes. So I grabbed my son, and I just ran. And he dropped his shoes, and I think I dropped a hot dog. And I was like, "Don't forget, go!" Obviously, with his ginormous legs, he caught up within 2 seconds, and I was stuck. And all of a sudden, I had the lead in his film. So.
Then he cast you in this film, One Way to Antibes, and where you play against Sven-Bertil Taube, a legend in the Swedish showbiz. What did you learn from working with those two big gentlemen?
I mean, that was, for me, I think a lot of people talk about when was that moment, in your career. And Mission Impossible is always the one that people think. And obviously it is, because it propelled into fame. But for me, An Enkel to Antibes was the stepping stone into a realization that acting actually could be something that I could do, that I could work with, that people had faith in it. And it gave me my collaboration with Lara Münsterhjelm, who was the agent who I was longing to have represent me. It was such a big step for me. It's one of my biggest steps ever. And you work with people who have been in the business. There's a natural självklarhet, I want to say. There's a way of working and listening and collaboration. And if you, as I do a lot, I lean back and I study people in my surrounding. It's all you need to do, really. You learn the good, and the bad. So for me, they were enormous a part of my development and my career.
A one-way trip to Antibes, En enkel till Antibes, was an acclaimed film, but a few years later you really got your international breakthrough with a leading role in BBC series The White Queen. And now things really happened fast. You got nominated for a Golden Globe, and there are many actors who dream of a Golden Globe all their life, and suddenly you were there, nominated together with Helen Mirren, Helena Bonham Carter, and Elizabeth Moss. What did you do right?
Well, no. What did I do right? Come on. I mean, I don't know what I did right. I was it was a good time. It was a good moment. I mean, Lara said to me after En enkel till Antibes, she said, we should get you over to England due to me speaking English. And she started a collaboration with an agent in England. And whilst I was there, they said, hey, we have a casting. It's for the Queen of England. And I was like, sure, great, why not? And that was the first casting. And which is luck, isn't it? You know, it's luck, it's a lot of work. And I never stopped to contemplate, I think. I just move. Until today, I still think about the Golden Globe nomination. I think about sitting on a throne with Max Irons one day, who played King Edward IV. And I said, look at all the extras and people around here. This is insane. And we're playing King and Queen of England. What the fuck? Sorry, what happened? Let's just take this in. I don't know what I did right. I don't think I want to answer that question. I'm still quite happy it's still moving forward, to be honest.
Historically, one of the most important jobs for queens has been making babies and making heirs. And in The White Queen, I think you have 7 birth scenes, giving birth in very many ways. And I know you have 2 children yourself, and many mothers have often objections to how childbirth is portrayed in films. What did you think of all these giving birth scenes in The White Queen?
What a weird question. I mean, I did it over a barrel. I did it in bed. I did it on all 4. I don't know. I don't overanalyze. It says give birth again. I'll do it. You know, I don't overanalyze things too much. I enjoy filming. I'm good at it. I'm good at giving birth. It's one of those kind of, it's on my CV. No, to be honest, I just kind of was it easy because I have children? Yeah, maybe, but I don't think I emotionally lock into the experience. It was needed, it was necessary. I remember being bored by it after a while. I remember walking onto set once and I saw these beautiful legs from behind. And I thought, who's giving birth? And they said, you. And I went, and they went, yeah, you weren't here. We needed a quick birth. I was like, who is she? They were like, we just brought her in. She seemed to have similar looking legs. She's pushing a baby out. And she was just twisting a baby and just dropped this pile of blood between her legs. They're like, great, moving on. And I thought, oh my God, this world is so weird. So, yeah, I don't know.
One of the many people who were really impressed by your performance in The White Queen,
birth giving,
and the birth giving, and the other things, I guess, was Tom Cruise. And this was maybe the first time he saw you, but I guess you had seen him before at the same time as 15-year-old me watched you in Nya Tider. You know, I was also crazy for Tom Cruise, and I guess you also had some kind of relationship to him as young. What was your relationship to him and his work as young?
Yeah, I mean, it was Tom Cruise, but I think for me, I was in love with him as a vampire. I found him really sexy with those teeth. I don't know if it was Tom or the teeth. I remember telling him that. He loved it. You know, he's just a little boy, really. But, I mean, you can't really not see him in films. My being impressed by him came after working with him, I think, more and more. That's when I realized the machinery that he is.
You have done 2 released Mission Impossible films and 2 upcoming ones with Tom Cruise, and I'm a big Mission Impossible fan. I prefer very much Mission Impossible films to the Bond films, for example. And I think, of course, he's one of the most fascinating actors of your time, and you have worked with him a lot. And how would you describe maybe the differences between you and his methods and ways of acting?
I think, God, it's so lonely sitting here. I think, we're very different. It's a very big question. I've worked 7 years with him.
Yeah.
He's been a part of my career for a very long time. I learned, and on the set that I was shooting today, a big stunt sequence and a TV show that I was doing. And he's in my head, the way that he runs things, the way that he double checks things, the respect for people, that there's a technique that he has that can't not be in me by this stage. And I'm very grateful for it. And then obviously we have different ways. We need to have different ways. I mean, it would be utterly monotone and boring if we had all actors working in the same way. I embrace some things and I learn some things. I'm mesmerized and shocked by some things. I mean, these are all the emotions we need to have. He's a phenomena. It's very hard to describe him. I love him to bits. He's a weirdo.
The Mission Impossible films that you have starred in are directed by Christopher McQuarrie, which I know is someone you have a big respect for also. And you have also worked with directors as Stephen Frears and, of course, Denis Villeneuve, just to name a few of them. According to you, what is the most important quality in a film director?
I think for me, I work very well with directors who have visions, obviously, who have. I need an openness. I need communication. I need dialogue. I need the freedom to try what I want. I need the freedom to let things roll the way it wants to roll with curveballs. I don't like static directors. I find that very difficult. It works in some areas. I look at people who they treat people around themselves. I've realized how important it is to feel good on set. I know some people don't care about it. I really do. I really warm to directors who are embracive of everyone. They don't have to be everywhere. You don't have the energy to be able to do all of it. But there's common courtesy on set that I find very important, and I think people lack sometimes. But creatively, I like frames and ideas to feel safe, and then I just want to be able to do what I want within those walls. Those are the best directors. I mean, that's a very lukewarm answer, but it's difficult, isn't it? Because sometimes you work with a director who throws you a curveball, who does something completely different, but he gets something from me that I haven't expected or known how to give. So
now I thought we should talk about Dune, and this is of course a very forceful and visually stunning film, and you are of course also absolutely brilliant in it. The film is based on the classic science fiction novel by Frank Herbert, a novel that both David Lynch and Alejandro Jodorowsky have tried to adapt for the screen with either bad or no result. And because of that, it was deemed doomed to be unfilmable. What was your first meeting with the Frank Herbert novel and the story of Dune?
I mean, what were your two options there? Either bad or no result. That really put them in a pocket, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I would disagree with that. I mean, I think they were extraordinary back in the day. I mean, the David Lynch was provoking, and it was gory and guttural, and it was disgusting, and it was horrendous in many ways, but we still discussed it, which is amazing. And Yorodovsky, he just didn't get the chance to make it, sadly enough. What was my feeling? I actually didn't know anything about it. I knew of the story, but I went deep diving after Denny offered me the role. But Yorodovsky was one of the first things I sat down and watched, which was just, I was going to say, I don't know if I can swear. Can I swear?
Yes, of course.
A mind fuck, wasn't it? I mean, it was creatively like the most astonishing visual thing ever. So yeah, it was in essence of receiving the role that I went diving into the films and the books, and I kind of fast forward David Lynch's a bit, to be honest.
The voice is a central element in Dune, and as Lady Jessica, also your voice in general is very important to the film. And how did you work with the way you sound in this film?
Do you mean the voice, as in when I do the voice? The voice,
and
not my normal voice.
But both.
I mean, my normal voice is just
your normal voice and the voice.
Are you going out? I think I remember offering up some creative versions of the voice. Yeah, we didn't go down that route. So it was quite silly. I tried. I like offering things up, but it just became forceful. I think it was all down to the fact that it needed to be a forceful, realistic direction, right? And I think the elements they played around with were great. And then the voice, I mean, if you mean in a philosophical term, we can have a conversation for a long time. I mean, I think she's an extraordinary character. I think the voice of reason, the voice of power, the voice of the otherworldly. I mean, the voice of connection to her heritage, her roots, the all-encompassing everything, and yet also the one who has to be able to know when to not use her voice, to back away and to let her child grow into something that might come bigger than her voice. Yeah.
Lady Jessica is part of the Bene Gesserit sisterhood, and this is an influential and secretive organization. And also, Ilsa Faust from the Mission Impossible films is part of the Impossible Mission Force, another influential and secretive organization. Both of these organizations and the films where they are present have sparked a lot of political debate. What do they mean? What are they doing? Are you interested in the political side of filmmaking?
I'm always very careful.
Why?
I'm far too blunt. I'm like a shovel. I literally bash my opinions. I think as a Swede, I think it's quite I want to say a welcoming way of being, but I also feel that when you speak about politics and when you speak about things that matter, you really need to know what you're saying. And I think you can discuss films that I've done in any film and compare to any form of political, geographical issue that is going on in the world. But you have to have time to formulate those thoughts, to make a ripple effect of your comments, right? We could talk about gender, we could talk about equality, we could talk about the recycling of things. What's lovely is that people can watch a movie, and if they are thinkers and they're intelligent human beings, hopefully they will walk away with a conversation to be had. That's what I'm interested in, right? I haven't yet done a film that is you know, I'd love to do something documentary, something real in that sense. To stand on barricades and to do something that I really believe in, because then it's really about talking about the essence of the matter and the fact of the film. My films have always been sort of dipping into a bit of sci-fi, a bit of spy movie. So you kind of have to be careful with making things a bit too light-hearted.
Talking about selecting projects, I guess you are now in a position where you can select from very many different projects. What is your idea? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for some realism. I'm looking for something modern. I'm looking for something dirty. I'm looking for real life stories as well. I'd like to get to know people. You know, one of the best things that I love about the job that I do is the research. It's about how deep you want to go. It could be, you know, body dysmorphias. It could be about handicaps. It could be about character. It could be about realism. It could be anything. You know, that's what's interesting. That's taking it to another level, which I'm intrigued about. I'd like to get to know the person I make a film about. Scary, but why not? You know, we live once, maybe.
That's very beautiful words, Rebecca. And with that, I think our time is up. And I just want to thank you for this conversation. And once again, I want to ask the audience to give a big applause for this year's recipient of the Honorary Dragon Award.
Thank you so much. I wish I was there.
Thank you very much, and good luck with what you're doing.
By the way, can I say something?
Yes, of course.
It's really fucking sharp.
It is. Be careful. It's a dragon, you know?
Like, the edges, it's not a toy.
No, of course not. We're not working with toys here.
No, I know.
Thank you.